Greetings. Greetings. Welcome to the Visible Inquisitor. So, as I promised, at the end of the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, I was going to do a breakdown after I'd seen everything, including how everybody was going to react after that point. I'm kind of confused. I'm not sure how to take some of these things, but here we are. So, I'm going to try not to take forever, but I want to break this down now, and now that I have all the information that I wanted, let's begin. Okay, so I watched the trial, as did millions of other people. So we all saw essentially the same thing, I would say. So I'm not going to beat up the trial itself because we've all seen it. Take away whatever you did from it. I believed that Johnny Depp and his team were well put together, had excellent witnesses, had way better evidence, and it seemed like Amber's team was sporadic. Their witnesses and experts didn't make any sense, and I was neutral from the beginning of this. I was just like, okay, like, this is gonna be mildly interesting. I watched a couple of the first few and I was like, this is something I'm going to keep my eye on. So I did, because normally I don't really give much of a crap about celebrity anything, but I dug into this and I was like, this has a little bit more meaning. You know, this makes sense because I myself, as a male, have been in abusive relationships. And with mine, it was because I was a big fella and I could take a hit. So some of the ladies thought that they could just go ahead and unload on me and I could just take it. And mind you, I'm an older fella. So this is back when, you didn't complain about that because you would have just been laughed at. Like, you're almost 6 foot tall. You're about 230 pounds of solid muscle. You're a construction worker, So you got slapped by your 110 pound girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like, that was the way that was. So coming from that perspective, this piqued my interest. I'm like, oh, is this a guy actually trying to go at this? Like, all right, let me see how this turns out. And then after hearing the story, there's a lot of stuff that kind of paralleled some of my similar situations. A lot of behaviors from Amber that I had dealt with myself in my own life. So yeah, it started to kind of resonate with me a little bit. Fast forward, like I say, I'm going to try to keep this at a reasonable length. I'm not so worried as so much as the trial, because we all, like I say, most of us have seen at least enough of it to formulate an opinion. And that was pretty much my opinion of the trial itself. They presented evidence, blah, 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 blah. We saw how the whole process works. In my opinion, I could clearly tell that she was lying. I could clearly tell, that he had been the abused, because I recognized a lot of his actions and behaviors, not even being a counselor, that I do myself because of abusive situations. So that was the trial. I was pretty pleased with the verdict. I don't really think Waldman actually should have been the target of their suit and what he stated, because I didn't see what he said as defamatory. Basically, he was just saying that they're going to get to the bottom of her pile of lies and clear his name and get him back where he, was. Understandably so. I just got done. Today's Thursday. So, been a day and a half since the verdict. And I've checked all the news stations. I've watched a bunch of different videos that other, people are reacting to, blah, 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 and this and that and the other. I'm connected on the internet to all of the names of people of which everybody watches and kind of pays attention to. Plus, I've watched, the left media, the right media, the central media, So I've got a pretty good shake on this. The part that confuses me, and another thing that I saw, was her lawyer, as they like to call her on the internet, the cat lady, on the news talking basically trash about the jury, the judge, everybody. That kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. And the fact that, like, they keep pushing this women can do no wrong narrative, I don't understand that. And I'm not coming at it from, like, as I know I'm probably going to get comments, that I'm a male chauvinist or a misogynist or the patriarchy, or no, it has nothing to do with that. I don't understand this whole, like, women can do no wrong narrative. Are women, according to now, completely incapable of doing anything wrong? Because if so, that's kind of weird to me. I've known a lot of women to do a lot of really wrong things, but I mean, it parallels with a lot of other situations and whatnot, but we'll get to those later. This video is supposed to be just about this trial, not the whole culture and humanity as a whole. We'll get there. My channel is young. And no, I'm not doing this for clickbait. It kind of handily works like that, but that's not my goal. I want, like I said before, I even said on, I think, a couple of other platforms that I want to wait until the trial's over because I want to see how the whole thing plays out. And that's the big resonating thing that I'm getting, like, mostly from the left. As you guys will learn, I'm about as centrist as you're going to possibly ever get. My mom even told me that the other day. She's like, you have no political alignment. I'm like, no, I really don't. I don't want to, I don't care to, I don't have any need to, or desire, or will I ever. So, I believe people from any team can have, great ideas. And that's the thing, they're like politicizing this trial too. It's like, they're calling Johnny Depp a right-winger. It's like, no, he's about as left as you can get. I don't understand. Like, why is everything politicized? Why is everything women can't do no wrong? Like, have we lost touch with reality that everything isn't politics and feminism? Like, is that just me, or did I miss something? I saw another article where they were saying, like, it sets back black women. Like, how? Like, so, that was on, like, Yahoo News or something, as I was flipping through all the different articles on my Google searches. It's like, how does this affect black people at all? I mean, other than, black men being able to come forward that they were abused by black women, and black women shouldn't lie to get their black men in trouble for no reason. So yeah, I mean, like, everybody's just digging their teeth into this on some kind of random level of trying to, pull their little part out of it. Like, is that what they're doing? Like, oh, look, the big thing that everybody's been focusing on for a couple of weeks now that was really popular is over. So now what? We got to pull our last few clicks out of it, Other things I've taken from this, and this is, it's a good thing. I'm not hating on anybody, but there's a lot of people on the internet that probably owe these two people a thank you for the amount of money that they've made off of it, which by all means, capitalize. But, I've seen a lot of the people, like, even a lot of the ones that I watched, like, they're getting super chats on the YouTube thing nonstop. And it's good. I mean, by like I say, by all means, you got to make money. I mean, if I had been ahead of the curve and been working on this channel and not all the other stuff that I've been doing prior to this trial, I probably would have been in the same space, and I would have been making money. And if I make a lot of clicks off of this video, thank you. Not thank you for going through your hells. Thanks for giving people in this time of hustling and struggling something that they can make a few bucks off of. I mean, if I ever see you in real life, Johnny Depp, I'll buy you a mega pint and drink it with you. Amber Heard, I really would care not to meet you in real life. I'm just saying, I don't want to get spun up in any kind of webs. And as most people probably can gather, I kind of went from team neutral to team Jonny. Like I said, I found that it was fair that she was a liar, and I've dealt with her kind before, so, just making it out loud. But yeah, I don't understand how they're trying to spin it that he was still guilty after all the evidence that was put forward and the people that came forward. If I was the judge, the moment Kate Moss stepped on stand and said, no, this is what really happened, it wasn't actually that. It's like, well, trial's over. That was all the proof that you really need right there. And, that's just my opinion. Like, how much more proof do you need? If he was that bad, then most of those like domestically abusing people have a track record of such behavior. So she wouldn't have been the first at his ripe old age. So, when an ex comes up and says, no, we get along great, that was, blah, 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 we still get along to this day. He never beat me up. He never pushed me down any stairs. He never did any of that. It's like, here's the actual story. It's like, well, that should have been the end of the trial. Like, can't really go against that. Sort of like the kid that, I'm going to call him a kid because he looked younger than me. The kid that owned that trailer park thing. He was right there. And the way he was talking, it made sense. I've been to similar kind of places. The owner just kind of mingles. And, when you're talking about celebrity status people, yeah, sure, you're going to go meet them and mingle with them as much as possible. And for him to say what he said, that kind of is the proof in the pudding right there, which I did find to be kind of amusing because between watching the trial and stuff, I watched a good portion of it, and I hate to name drop, and I'm not doing it for clout or anything like that, but the individual that seemed to always have the best feeds, I watched the feed through that umbrella guy, which was funny because then he got mentioned in court several times, and I'm like, well, that's cool, that's who I've been watching, because he had a good commentary and he shut up when they were talking and only talked during breaks and stuff, and he had a lot of insight, which was cool. So I was watching through his YouTube channel, and then when I would kick on, like after the fact, I like to go to the Popcorn Planet for their commentary. Once I found them, I like their after the trial day breakdowns, and then some of their guests and how they analyzed everything, and it's like, oh, okay, this is cool. But yeah, I watched a bunch of them. The DWI guy, because he had a neat perspective of, being in the courtroom, so I watched his stuff. So it's like, I watched the whole thing, and then the last couple of days I've been reading the articles and watching the news spin it, not to keep with the political thing, but Fox News just kind of stated facts and then moved on with it. It wasn't like a big elaborate thing. And then all of the left ones were all still like, no, Jonny beat up Amber. It's like, no, there's enough proof to say that wasn't a thing. So why are we still kicking this poor dead horse here? Honestly, it kind of disgusts me, the fact that they would take and, try to smear the entire legal process because their team didn't win. They didn't set back women at all. They made it, out in the open that men can be abused too. Most men aren't going to come forward, or a lot of the common people couldn't afford to go that far. I know for a fact that I couldn't afford to do that. Like, I know this. How far could you get in a situation like this, say with a public defender? Drop that in some comments and let's discuss that. Like, how far could you get? Do you think you would be able to win a case like this as a man, or even as a woman, on both sides of this fence? Like, could an average person pull this off? Could you pull off a defamation case or allegations of abuse case as a regular person? Could you afford it? That's a conversation I want to see happening. That are my thoughts. I'll get in the comments and chat with you guys and girls and all identifying factors. So yeah, drop in the comments. I'll close this video out here. Get yourselves in the comments and let's have a discussion about whether John Q. Public versus John Q. Depp, or John Q. Public. Could we do this? We see John Depp can, but can John Public do this. And what do you think that it'll do to, like, what's your take on the whole thing? I like reading comments on videos. Sometimes it's more fun than watching the actual video. Let me know your thoughts. The Invisible Inquisitor is out.